Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnanajanashalakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shamte Jai Pataka Swaminate Namni Nama Acharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradhani Gora Katha Dham Dharana Vigram Dharani Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shamte Vigram Swaminate Namni Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharni Nirvasesh Sunyavadi Paschadavishtar Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shvasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So continuing with chapter 8, text 15. Welcome everyone. Yes. Thank you, Preeti. So text 15. Mamupetya punarjanma dhukalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gataha. After attaining me, the great souls who are yogis in devotion never return to this temporary world which is full of miseries because they have attained the highest perfection. Purport. So since this temporary world is full of miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, for everyone, he's saying this not just for earth, people on the earth, for everyone, because everyone has to go through birth, old age, disease, and death. Naturally, he who achieves the highest perfection and attains the supreme planet, Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavana, does not wish to return. And the supreme planet is described in Vedic literature as Avyakta and Akshara and Paramagati. In other words, that planet is beyond our material vision, Avyakta. Right? So we cannot see it. Akshara, it's inexplicable. You cannot explain that. But it is the Paramagati, highest goal and destination for the Mahatmas, great souls. The Mahatmas received transcendental messages from the realized devotees and thus gradually develop devotional service in Krishna consciousness and become so absorbed in transcendental service that they no longer desire elevation to any of the material planets, nor do they even want to be transferred to any spiritual planet. They only want Krishna and Krishna's association and nothing else. That is the highest perfection of life. This verse specifically mentions the personalist devotees of the Supreme Lord Krishna. These devotees in Krishna consciousness achieve the highest perfection of life. In other words, they are the supreme souls. So that is when we fix our mind on Krishna, then we become the highest. The material world is miserable and temporary. By gradually developing devotional service, beginning with hearing, the Mahatmas lose all desire for elevation to any planet except Krishna Loka, the supreme spiritual planet. As you know, always we want to go to something higher planet, right? In the material world also we are trying, okay, when we are young especially, we are thinking which is the best place to be. We are planning to go to the best place in the world, and because we want to be happy in that place. But Krishna is saying you may try, and then some people try to go in the next life, I want to go to the heavenly planets and enjoy myself for so long. But he says every place you cannot avoid birth and death, old age, disease, and death. It's only a question of relativity. On the earth, old age disease is very much prevalent. In the heavenly planets, you don't have so much of old age and disease, but death is there. So, and it's temporary. So that is why we have to. So then the intelligent person will inquire, which is the place where I don't have to keep on taking birth and death, where I'm always happy. You know, I don't have to go through all these difficulties in life. Adi Bhautik, Adi Daivik, Adi Atmik. I don't want that. So then that is the spiritual world. And And how do you get it? How do you understand? The Mahatmas receive transcendental messages from the realized devotees and thus gradually develop devotional service and Krishna consciousness. So, when we hear about Krishna, his abode from the scriptures, from the sadhus, then what happens? Our faith becomes strong. Oh, there is a world which is beyond all these miseries. And so then we can fix on that. And then you become a Mahatma. Mahatma is one who are yogis in devotion, who are Krishna conscious and are Krishna's devotees. So otherwise, it's very difficult for those who are not spiritually inclined or just not so much spiritual to know the supreme truth, will not be able to fix their mind on Krishna. They get easily distracted by sensory things. So someone who can be fixed on Krishna means they have become really, gone beyond this. And so they are a Mahatma. So pure Bhakti Yoga, always remembering the Lord, no distractions. No, this is for the previous verse we saw. For Krishna says, for one who always remembers me without deviation, I'm easy to obtain, O son of Pritha, because of his constant engagement in devotional service. So here, this from 14 to 19, we will talk, Krishna talks about pure devotional service. And there is no impediment in such service, and one easily attains Krishna. The material world is miserable and temporary. And then by hearing this description, one gains detachment from this world. So, how in devotional service, there are no obstacles. There may be material world, somebody might try to stop you doing devotional service and so on. But because it is something you're doing for Krishna, Krishna will not make sure that the obstacles are gone and you can continue with it. Nobody can stop anybody's devotional service. Krishna will protect everybody. So very easily you can do it and easily attain Krishna. So this is the pure Bhakti Yoga process, always remembering the Lord, no distractions of material desires, constant engagement in devotional service, easy to attain Krishna in the spiritual world, 8.14. So because easy to perform Bhakti Yoga, no material impediments. That means there could be, if you say some people may have, even with within their family, not everyone will be happy about doing devotional service, or you may have neighbors who complain something, or other people, I mean, they don't like devotees, purposely they'll persecute devotees. We have so many things. It's not easy, but devotee is determined to do, then nobody can stop it. No, Krishna will help, no material impediments. Krishna is inclined towards him. Krishna gives him intelligence to attain him. Loving relationship between the Lord and this devotee gives peace and satisfaction. Nothing else can match this. The peace and satisfaction of pleasing Krishna. That alone can give complete satisfaction and peace. Otherwise, our heart, mind is always hankering for something more, something more. Maybe, this, maybe that. And Hiranyakashipu, he was the ruler of the whole universe. And everybody was trembling in front of him. Even the devatas were all trembling. Nobody had the guts to oppose him. And even though he got everything, still material, that is, but his mind was all the time, it was dissatisfied. He was easily agitated. That's why he could not tolerate that his own dear son. So what if he didn't accept him as God? The whole universe has accepted him. Okay, this is a small baby, my dear baby. He could have forgiven him, but he was not satisfied. Nothing can satisfy, nothing material can satisfy. Only when loving relationship between the Lord and this devotee, then one will be satisfied. One can do whatever material we can try. It's not that we should not try to improve our situation or work and all that. You do, but then not beyond a certain this thing. It shouldn't be lopsided, and we'll be satisfied. Whatever we do our best, whatever comes by Krishna's mercy, then we'll be satisfied and very peaceful. That is the real wealth. Okay, because whatever you may have, if you're not satisfied and peaceful, then all the charm is gone. You're not happy. So, but with Krishna consciousness, you can be happy. Okay, next verse, the next slide, Preeti, please. Huh. So this is the one we saw, 8.15. Why should we aspire only for the spiritual planets? Why not for other material planets? There is Swargaloka, then Mahar, Janas, Tapas, Satya, all these higher planetary systems where they have long lives and all people in the mode of goodness. So everyone is very nice. You don't have problems, people trying to poke you and make you, all the time trying to trouble you and grab your things, and they don't have such problems. So, of course, but still there is some little bit of envy, or those sort of things are also there, but very minute. And goodness is more prominent as you go higher and higher there. So why not in those planets? And then they don't have old age disease, hardly any problems, and long lives. So why we could not go there? All planets, Krishna says, all planets in this temporary world full of misery. First of all, it's temporary. And they also have misery. And what is that? They look at all the people on the earth and they feel so sad. Look at them. Why they have to suffer like this? So they also feel some misery. Actually, you can be overtaken by guilt when you see that you're enjoying and your other fellow, some living entities are suffering so much. That also can cause you misery. Then duration of Brahma's day and night, 1,000 yuga cycles. Oh, this we will be doing next, I think. Yeah. So till now we saw how, first of all, why we should attain to the spiritual planets, because it is eternal, transcendental, never annihilated, it's infallible. One never returns after reaching it. Mahatmas gain taste only in the spiritual planet, attainable only through devotion. Okay, this will come through in the next few verses, 14 to 19. So we finished with 14 and 15, now 16. Brahma bhuvana loka punar avartino arjuna mamupetya tu kaunteya punar janmana vidyate. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery wherein repeated birth and death takes place. But one who attains to my abode, O son of Kunti, never takes birth again. So Krishna himself is saying, uh, from the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest, all are places of misery. Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punar Avartino Arjuna. Um, yeah. The Loka, the planet Puna, again, Avatina returning. All kinds of Prabhupada, all kinds of yogis, karma, jnana, hatha, etc., eventually have to attain devotional perfection in bhakti yoga or Krishna consciousness before they can go to the Krishna's transcendental abode and never return. Those who attain the highest material planets, the planets of the demigods, are again subjected to repeated birth and death. As persons on earth are elevated to higher planets, people on higher planets such as Brahmaloka, Chandraloka, and Indraloka fall down to earth. The practice of sacrifice called, because they finished their term. They have done some good pious activities here for which it's like you're booking a, resort, and you paid money for it. You can stay there as many days you paid. Then once the money runs out, you have to come back. Like that, we have done some good karma, you can go there. And then once finished, then you have to come back. So as persons on earth are elevated, as we are getting elevated, people on earth who do very much pious activities, a lot of mode of goodness activities, charitable things and all this, then they are or even worshipping the Lord, but very pious, so mode of goodness. Then they're elevated to higher planets. People on higher planets, they are coming down. The practice of sacrifice called Panchagni Vidya, recommended in the Chandogya Upanishad, enables one to achieve Brahmaloka. Panchagni Vidya. But if on Brahmaloka one does not cultivate Krishna consciousness, then he must return to earth. If in Brahmaloka he does Krishna consciousness, then from there also he can go back to Godhead. But if he does not do, then he has to return to the earth. Those who progress in Krishna consciousness on the higher planets are gradually elevated to higher and higher planets, and at the time of universal devastation are transferred to the eternal spiritual kingdom. Sridhara Swami, in his commentary in Bhagavad Gita, quotes this verse: Brahmana sahate sarve samprapte pratisanchari parasyante kritatmana pravishanti parampadam. When there is devastation of this material universe, Brahma and his devotees who are constantly engaged in Krishna consciousness are all transferred to the spiritual universe and to specific spiritual planets according to their desires. So that gradual, if you're going the gradual way, step by step, then what happens? You do a lot of charitable works and more of goodness. You give some, you help a lot of people, and then you also have faith in Krishna. Then you go to the Swargaloka. Then in Swargaloka also you do your Krishna conscious. You worship the Lord. Then you make more progress. Then you go to Maharloka, and Maharloka people are all performing a lot of sacrifices to the Lord. They can see the Lord. They're doing always yajnas and all that. And so there is complete peace over there and calm and happiness. And then from there, you make more progress. Then you go to Janaloka. Then you go to Tapaloka. Finally, Satyaloka, where Brahma's place. And in Brahmaloka, if you don't complete your Krishna consciousness, then you have to come back to the earth. But if you make further progress, then, and you're doing all those sacrifices and worship along with Brahma, Brahma is always worshipping the 1,000-headed Hiranyagarbha. He is actually Garbhodakshay Vishnu, from whose navel he was born. So that same um, Garbhodakshay Vishnu as a 1,000-headed Vishnu, he is worshipping him. And all the other people in the Brahmaloka also doing along with Brahma. And so at the end of Brahma's life, 100 days, we will see the calculation. Then what happens? The whole universe is destroyed. Shiva comes from the third eye of Sankarsana and he starts dancing very wildly because he's so angry. He's contained all the anger in him, Rudra. And when he dances, then the whole universe, its balance is lost. And so then what happens? All waters, uh, everything becomes topsy-turvy. So all the waters from the Garbhodaka, it goes right up to the top and, everybody is drowned in it. And at that time, Brahmaji goes, because he's been doing devotional service. Normally, all Brahmas are devotees. And so when he goes, then all the others were also with him, performing all these devotional activities, also go back to Godhead. So that is step by step. But you don't have to go like that. From the earth itself, if we do devotional service, immediately in this life only you can go back to Godhead. So why should we go step by step when we can go in an elevator? Text 17. Sahasra Yuga Paryantam Aharyat Brahmano Vidu Ratrim Yuga Sahasrantam Te Ho Ratra Vido Jana. By human calculation, 1,000 ages taken together form the duration of Brahma's one day, and such also is the duration of his night. So 1,000 ages means one age is equal, what they call is one day of Brahma consists of 1,000 cycles of 4 yugas. So one cycle is this 4 yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara and Kali, and that into 1,000. That is just one day of Brahma, and night also is like that, 1,000 yuga cycles of 4 into 1,000. So like that. Then so the cycle of Satya is characterized by virtue, wisdom, and religion, there being practically no ignorance and vice. So everybody is so virtuous and full of wisdom and religion. And so there is no vice at all. Nobody is bad. And the yuga lasts 1,728,000 years. And actually, how it goes is this: if you see Kali Yuga, that is 432,000 years. Now, 432,000 into 2 is, that is Dwapara Yuga, 864,000 years. Then 432 into 3 is 1,296,000 years, which is the Dwapara Yuga. And 432,000 into 4 is 1,728,000 years. So in the Treta Yuga, vice is introduced, and this yuga lasts 1,296,000 years. In the Dwapara Yuga, there is an even greater decline in virtue and religion, vice increasing, and this yuga lasts 864,000 years. And finally, in Kali Yuga, the yuga we have now been experiencing for the past 5,000 years, there is an abundance of strife, ignorance, irreligion, and vice, true virtue being practically non-existent. And this yuga lasts 432,000 years. So in Kali Yuga, vice increases to such a point that at the termination of the yuga, the Supreme Lord himself appears as Kalki Avatara and vanquishes the demons, save his devotees, and commences another Satya Yuga. So Kalki Avatara, Kalki for killing Kali. Kali will be killed by Kalki. And so then again, a new Satya Yuga will come. Then the process is set rolling again. So these 4 yugas, rotating 1,000 times, comprise one day of Brahma. And the
Mataji, Hare Krishna. Sorry to interrupt, Mataji, but we declare this as golden era, right, Mataji?
That is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given a window of 10,000 years. For the next 10,000 years, there will be a golden age, like Satya Yuga. It will happen, where people are all religious, very peaceful, they're all very wise, and so on. And nature also. So in Satya Yuga, they didn't even have to work hard. Everything was provided. They were all very opulent. And because they were, very peaceful, and they were all meditating. That was their Yuga Dharma. But of course, in Kali Yuga, Yuga Dharma is chanting the holy names. So everywhere, if people are doing Sankirtana and all that, even the other people, maybe not everyone will do Sankirtana, but a lot of people do Sankirtana, at least 1% of the population, then it will have an influence on the minds of other people also. So they will start doing their religions very, very sincerely and all that. So everybody will become very religious. So because of that, the earth will start producing very profusely. Earth only is the source of all our wealth. If you see, first of all, for food we need depends on rains, and the earth produces everything, and all the minerals are all there inside the earth. The metals are there, and even the ocean, everything is on the earth only. Ocean is giving us so much of other wealth, like pearls and things. So everything is coming from the earth. And that is so it will produce in abundance. Weather and all will be very good. Season rains will come on time. So all that was there in the Satya Yuga, in this window of 10,000 years, he has predicted that. But after that, it will be a heavy duty Kali Yuga. So we should not wait till then. We should try to go, as if you can go in this life only, that's the best.
Yes,
During Brahma, huh?
Yes, Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So then during Brahma's day and night, 1,000 yuga, during Brahma's night, we stay unmanifested. So what happens? Let me see. Let me read from these 4 yugas, rotating 1,000 times, comprise one day of Brahma, and the same number comprises one night. Brahma lives 100 of such years and then dies. These 100 years by earth calculations total to 311 trillion and 440 billion earth years. We can't even figure out. Just like an ant, the ant cannot conceive of human beings' lifespan. Like that, for us to think of Brahmaji's 311 trillion and 40 billion Earth years. By these calculations, the life of Brahma seems fantastic and interminable. But from the viewpoint of eternity, it is as brief as a lightning flash. That also, so many Brahmas have come, so many. So time keeps rolling. And if you compare it with eternal uh, life, then this is nothing. Very just, it comes and goes. So in the causal ocean, there are innumerable Brahmas rising and disappearing like bubbles in the Atlantic. Brahma and his creation are all part of the material universe, and therefore they are in a constant flux, constantly coming, going, coming, going. In the material universe, not even Brahma is free from the process of birth, old age, disease, and death. Brahma, however, is directly engaged in the service of the Supreme Lord in the management of this universe. There, and therefore, he at once attains liberation. Such a responsible job is doing, right? He is created and this universe, secondary creator, of course. Krishna only made the universes and everything. And then he also gives, after just doing some, just basic this thing, then the blueprint is given by Krishna to Brahma in his heart, and Brahma creates. So that's why he's doing great service for Krishna. And so that is devotional service. And so he attains liberation at the end of this thing, at the end of his life. Elevated sannyasis are promoted to Brahma's particular planet, Brahmaloka, which is the highest planet in the material universe and which survives all the heavenly planets in the upper strata of the planetary system. So, but in due course, Brahma and all the inhabitants of Brahmaloka are subject to death according to the law of material nature. So, actually, after the day, one day of Brahma, there is a partial devastation which happens. Shiva dancing and the floods coming and all that. And at that time, what happens? All the lower planetary systems up to Maharloka are all washed away in the water. And we all go into the body of Mahavishnu. And we are just there. We, we are completely unconscious over there. And then again, when Brahma's day comes, again, we are put back into this universe. Again, we start. And then again, all the Brahma creates again all the planets. So like this. So he has to be, he's very busy, Brahma, because every day he has to be creating. It's not that once he created for 100 years, he can relax. It's not like that. Because every day, at the end of the day, all these lower planetary systems will all this thing be finished. So again, he has to create, and then all the living entities, he has to make sure everybody's born. So he's very, very busy. Then text 18. Avyaktat vyaktaya sarva prabhavanti ahar agame ratri agame praliyante tatreva vyakta samnyake. At the beginning of Brahma's day, all living entities become manifest from the unmanifest state. And thereafter, when the night falls, they are merged into the unmanifest again. They're not manifest, and they go and are waiting in the this thing in the abdomen of Mahavishnu. So again, this keeps happening. We have done all this for how many? I don't know how many kalpas we have been staying here, how many Brahmas we have seen, and how many lokas we've gone up and down like a Ferris wheel, sometimes in that planet and sometimes down and up, and like we've been going up. We have really done. We have been, that's why we are called Nitya Baddha, eternally conditioned, because we've been here for a very, 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 very long time. So now we should use our intelligence and say, enough. I've been here, I've seen it all. Now I want to have a really, nice place where there's no more suffering, especially those of us we are all come to Kali Yuga, and we can see how much of strife, all what is predicted is happening. So we should think that, no, now I want to be, I want to become, my original position is to be a Mahatma. So why not? I want to be with, in the a perfect stage. Nobody will say settle for something less when you can do very easily through devotional service. Then text 19, Bhuta Gramasa Evayam Bhutva Bhutva Praliyate Ratri Agame Vasa Partha Prabhavati Ahar Agame. Again and again, when Brahma's day arrives, all living entities come into being, and with the arrival of Brahma's night, they're helplessly annihilated. So the less intelligent who try to remain within this material world may be elevated to higher planets and then again must come down to this planet Earth. So during the daytime of Brahma, they can exhibit their activities on higher and lower planets within this material world. But at the coming of Brahma's night, they're all annihilated. In the day, they receive various bodies for material activities. And at night, they no longer have bodies, but remain compact in the body of Vishnu. Then again, they are manifest at the arrival of Brahma's day. So because we all have so big bodies, and it's not that all of us will go with our bodies, no. Only the body is all finished, only the unmanifest. The soul with the subtle material body will all go into Lord Vishnu's body.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but there's a scene in Mahabharata where Arjuna goes to heaven with the body to learn dance in Indraloka.
Yeah, why not?
You said like we can't go with the body, like only soul can go to heaven.
No, I'm talking about going into Mahavishnu's body who's lying
Okay.
outside this universe.
Oh, okay.
That is, we die and then we go. This is just traveling. When he's alive during the day of Brahma only, he is traveling. You can do. In earlier times, there was interplanetary travel also. But that can be, nowadays they're trying to send rockets and all that. And they go, you cannot go in this sort of thing through artificial rockets and all that. You have to be qualified to go there. And that is when you have sufficient credit of, pious activities, goodness and all that. Then, so he could go. And even from the heavenly planets, people used to come before, the demigods. But nowadays they don't want to come because horrible place, no? Everybody is so sinful. Even if they come here, they won't even recognize and they'll make fun of them. There's, oh, who's this? They'll call them aliens and all this. So they don't want to come to this place.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Ultimately, when Brahma's life is finished, they're all annihilated and remain unmanifest for millions and millions of years. Just imagine another 311 trillion and 40 billion Earth years. That is the duration of Brahmaji's day and also Brahmaji's night. So 311 trillion years and 40 billion Earth years, we have been staying in the stomach of Mahavishnu, and then again we become manifest. Again we get bodies. So that is what. And when Brahma is born again in another millennium, they are again manifest. Another Brahma. Brahma is a title. So one Brahma, his lifetime finishes, he goes back to Godhead. Another person becomes Brahma, whoever is qualified, like that. And when Brahma is born again in another millennium, they are again manifest. In this way, they're captivated by the spell of the material world. But those intelligent persons who take to Krishna consciousness use the human life fully in the devotional service of the Lord, chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thus they transfer themselves, even in this life, to the spiritual planet of Krishna and become eternally blissful there, not being subject to such rebirths. So even in this life, we can go there. Imagine, forget about all this 311 trillion, fantastic 40 billion years and all that. We're talking about just a few decades. And imagine in a few decades, we'll meet each other. Suppose we meet each other in Goloka. That'll be so nice, no? You'll remember, oh, just a while ago, oh, you were there and then, what we were doing. And how foolish we were to go to the material world. But what is this question? Uh, what fear did you have, Purvika?
Yes, Mataji. That's chanting, Mataji, like distractions around. I'm talking about outer distractions. You have
Uh,
counseled me about inner distractions before, but I'm trying to control still, but it's not possible.
do you join our Japa group to chant?
No, Mataji.
Why?
Actually,
Sometimes is
I
it too
got to know
early?
about it. Like, yeah, I got to know about it just a few days back, and this waking up time only 8 o'clock, 8:30. Now I'm on holidays, so that's the problem. Yes.
Okay. Maybe even if you can join by 6:30, 6:30, even up to 7:30 we have.
Oh, okay,
So
okay.
Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji.
yeah, Hare
Mataji,
Krishna.
is our attentive chanting is only valid for 16 rounds, or else is that okay to chant 16 rounds anyhow, Mataji?
What? 16 rounds?
16 rounds is attentive chanting is valid, I mean is counted, or else any chanting is okay for 16 rounds, Mataji. Sometimes
Same problem, Mataji. Distraction. We'll be daydreaming. Before we know it, we're on the 108th beat. That's what happens.
See, that is why we try to chant as early as possible, because at that time, nobody is woken up, the whole city is sleeping, and at that time, but all spiritualists are awake, and it's very sattvic time, when there's no rajasic activities happening. And at that time, the mind is very, and you don't have any work pressures and all that. Oh, somebody ringing the bell and calling up, and then, oh, I have to give this to my something duty calls. All that won't be there. That's why we do in the early morning, because the mind is also very peaceful. Because as soon as you get up, have you seen early morning before sunrise? Then it's a very nice, soothing time. And that time you chant, your mind is more peaceful and you can hear. If you are chanting in the Rajasic time, when everybody is very, active and talking, and you'll keep getting WhatsApp, phone calls, and all these things, then naturally you'll get distracted, isn't it?
yes,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
We'll try to wake up, Mataji.
Yeah, try
Thank
to
you,
just,
Mataji.
I'll
go.
try to join, Mataji.
Okay, then you'll slowly, it will improve a lot, because the main thing is, what happens is something else takes our attention. But if you see all the people chanting, seriously, then your mind will also say, okay, I also will chant. So hearing the holy names, don't worry, you should neglect the mind will keep jabbering something or the other. Just ignore it, because
Yeah.
you are not the mind.
What happened once Mataji was chanting, the TV was on in the background. Some funny music came. I started laughing in between.
What
Some funny music, some funny dialogue or something comes, I'll start laughing. All the time TV is on in my room. So now
my
it's off now. Now
always
it's off,
on in
Mataji.
your
So I'm listening to class now.
room. Then it's like you're trying to light a fire and constantly you're putting water in it. How you can light a
Correct,
fire?
Mataji. I didn't chant these 4 days because like all this darshan and all that busy and tired by the time we return to hotel room and also I should start again from today.
Hmm.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Purvi Mataji, do you know the link for morning chanting?
You put it in
No,
the group.
Mataji.
Okay, I'll put in the group, okay?
Yeah, sure, Mataji.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll definitely see Hare Krishna mantra is such a valuable thing. It just, whatever may our consciousness may have been in the past. Maybe we were very, very social, and we were very flamboyant and going around everywhere, so many distractions. Even such a person, by chanting Hare Krishna, will become very peaceful, and his whole outlook will change, that's what. Then you'll become very peaceful, calm, and you can think clearly, and you will have complete faith in the spiritual world, faith in Krishna's existence, all these things. So that's why chanting is so important. Such a powerful mantra that here also it is our only source of protection in all circumstances, because it's the avatar of Krishna. And so anytime, see, anytime, any problem, all you have to do is take shelter of the holy names, because that is Krishna. Right? It's such a valuable thing for this world and this life also. I mean, for living here and for going back to God, it also, it's like a big rope that Krishna has thrown from there, from the spiritual world. Here, hold on, and then I'll pull you out. So that's why we should, we can get all perfections through chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. Okay, now.
So Krishna will remove us from any distraction, then he'll make sure we chant his name, right, Mataji?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Because as you're getting more taste, you want to chant properly, then how can you keep the TV on and chant? You should put off the
Yeah,
TV, at least while chanting.
sure, Mataji. I'll do that, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, even sometimes we get whatever service we do, we used to think about that, Mataji. Is that okay? I mean,
What?
services, whatever services we do for Krishna, that thoughts come through our mind while chanting, Mataji. Is that okay?
It's very good. See, when you're chanting, what happens is all inspiration will come. Oh, I should
Sometimes
do this.
pastimes, sometimes whatever Prabhupada told about Krishna, all these thought process will be going in our mind. Is that okay, Mataji? Is that not uh, offended, no, Mataji?
No, but it is actually helping you, to think
Okay.
about Krishna.
Okay. So it is not considered as offense, right, Mataji?
No, but you must, if it is inspiring you, and then you think about, you hear the holy names. That is
Yes,
why
sir.
whatever the mind tells you, actually, it's not good to even listen to these thoughts, because what will happen is slowly it will take you away, far away somewhere. It starts with all good things. And then if
Yes,
you trust the
Mataji.
mind, it will start planning heavily. Oh, today I must do that and this. And that day I went and met this person and they told me that. It will slowly go to that. So just okay, all good. Suppose some nice idea comes when you're chanting, only all good ideas will come. So, isn't it?
Yes, Mataji.
So that time, so you keep a book and you note it down. Okay, then, okay, now see, because if something comes and then you'll try to remember it and recollect, oh, I shouldn't forget, then you'll forget about hearing the holy name. So, what you do is you keep a book and you keep noting down.
Okay, Mataji.
And then afterwards you forget it. Okay, it's there. I'll go to it later, and you keep chanting.
Okay, Mataji. Mataji, train us for attentive chanting, Mataji.
Yeah, we'll
Yes,
also have.
Mataji.
I pray to Jagannath, help me in my. Okay, very sweet. He will help you. And okay,
Thank you,
attentive
Mataji.
chanting. Maybe what we'll do is one of these days we will only chant, or at least chant for a long time, say for 30 minutes or something, or how many, 15 minutes or something. Yeah.
Yes.
I will stop a little early, and then for 15 minutes we'll chant together. Shall we do
30
that?
minutes. We'll do 30 minutes, Mataji.
Okay, 30 minutes we'll chant.
Okay, Mataji, done. Thank
Okay.
you, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you
What
so
am I
much, Mataji. Same
Hare
queries as
Krishna.
Raji Mataji, I also get.
Uh-huh. Okay. Sini
Thank
Mataji
you,
has
Mataji.
asked.
Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. What are the rules of applying tilak on forehead? She's asked. What are the rules? Okay. You know to apply tilak?
Hare Krishna Mataji. My doubt, see, as soon as I got up in the early morning, suddenly we have to take bath and apply this and start chanting, or after chanting we have to take bath, and because early morning no health issues will start. So that is my doubt.
No, if you have health issues, then you can chant first and then take bath. No, not a problem, because the chanting is so powerful that it doesn't even require all this. Normally, for all pujas, we have a bath and then do. But this Hare Krishna mantra is so powerful that it doesn't have even all these things. If you really have a health problem, then it's okay. You can chant first and then have a bath.
Okay, Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay. So this one, Utkarshini Mataji, you have some quiz questions for them.
Hare Krishna, yes, Mataji.
Can we apply tilak during those 5 days? Yes, yes, we can.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Utkarshini Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. The supreme planet is described in the Vedic literature. So what are the names and what does it mean? Mataji did explain about it.
Huh? You said what? Supreme planet.
Yes, Mataji, those three names in the 15th shloka.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
what
it's,
are the-
yeah, and its meaning also, you can say. Is it okay for you all to answer that?
You mean the Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan Mataji?
No,
Yes.
Goloka Vrindavana.
Okay.
No, what are in the Vedic literature? It is given, it's described those three names. Shall I tell? Avyakta, Akshara,
Kara
and
Parama.
Paramagati.
Oh, Paramagati, sorry, Mataji.
Yeah. That's planet is beyond our material vision and it is inexplicable, but it's the highest code. Okay. Which is the highest perfection? Who are supreme souls? That also you can say. What is the highest perfection of life? And who are supreme souls? Same text you can answer. Same 14th, 15th text. Very simple. Answer is
Like Mahatma's Mataji.
Yeah, who is a Mahatma?
The yogis who are so devoted.
Devoted to what?
Krishna.
Yes. They only want Krishna and Krishna's association and nothing else. That's the highest perfection of life. We have to love Krishna so much. In the material world also we have such experiences. No, sometimes a girl or a boy, they want to marry each other and only that person, and for each other they are ready to even give up their lives. So it is not something alien to us, right? Only thing is now we are loving the supreme person with whom we have eternal relationship. So that is the highest perfection.
when do we stay unmanifested? Which is the duration?
During the night time of Brahma, Mataji.
Yes. Correct, Mataji? Mataji, it's correct, no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, just true or false, one sentence. All the highest planet and are never annihilated and they're infallible. And there is a, okay, you answer whether it is true or false. All the highest planet, they are never annihilated.
False, Mataji, false.
False, yeah. Is there birth, death take place there?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, those who attain higher planets, how they are, like how they can reach and that eternal abode step by step. But what is it in the case of a devotee? How they attain?
How do people go step by step to the spiritual world? Like you're taking a staircase, like you're going to the terrace. There are some people who are going step by step through the staircase and another person are taking the elevator. So what is that step by step process? First going to which place? Which step?
Swargalok. Svargaloka Mataji.
Yes. That is the higher planetary systems. Okay, one by one, you keep on getting elevated as you make, your consciousness gets elevated. Then you go to the next level like that.
And what is the next step, Mataji? Brahmaloka or Satyaloka, Mataji?
First is Swargaloka,
Swarg. After that, Mataji.
Maharloka,
Okay.
Mahar, Janaloka, Tapaloka, then Satyaloka.
Who
Okay.
stays in these three lokas, Mataji? Maharloka, Japaloka, and Janaloka. Sorry, I didn't get it. Who stays in these three lokas?
The living entities who are, very elevated in, in mode of goodness, and they are doing all, they do yajnas, and they are worshipping the Lord much more. They have so much faith. They can even see the Lord like that. Very elevated Brahmanas. I mean, Brahmanas means anyone, going to Maharjanas and all, they have to be very Brahmanical, all rishis, those sort of people.
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, can anyone explain about the yugas in few words and what are their names? Names of the yugas and the duration also, if possible, you can tell.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. May I answer?
Yes, please.
Yes.
So the names of the yugas are Satya Yuga or Kruta Yuga. Then we have Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. The
Okay.
cycle of Satya Yuga is there was full of dharma. People were very religious and they were very good. They were full of virtue and wisdom. And this yuga lasted for 1,72,008 years.
No,
Mataji, one.
yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
In the Treta
Yeah.
Yuga, there is little bit vice, there is adharma introduced. This yuga lasted for 12,96,000 years. And Dwapara Yuga, even more greater decline was there. So like the Mahabharata war took place in that yuga, decline of religion and vice is increasing. This lasted for 8,64,000 years. Finally, Kali Yuga, as we can see, religious principles have completely declined. Everybody is full of lust, greed, anger, ignorance. And this yuga, we've experienced 5,000 years. And we have the total number of years is 4,32,000 years.
And just a small calculation Mataji did tell how we can reach, we can get the Satyuga years. How much should we multiply with Kali Yuga, like the duration, those years, na? If you multiply it by 2, it is Dwapara, then 3, it is Treta, and 4 is Satyuga. What is Kalpa? How much is a lifespan of a Brahma?
100 years, Mataji. Kalpa is 1 day of Brahma.
Okay, so that is 1,000 cycles.
1,000 cycles of 4 yugas.
Yes. Okay. Correct, no, Mataji?
Yes.
Okay. Which is the highest planet in the material world?
Goloka Mataji.
No, material world. Material world.
Satya Loka, Mataji.
Sargaloka.
Brahmaloka.
The Brahma
Correct, no, Mataji? Brahmaloka.
Yeah. That is also Satyaloka,
Uh,
Brahma's abode.
Okay, Brahma is eternal. He doesn't have a birth and death. Is my sentence true or false?
Brahma is not eternal. He is mortal actually, Mataji. He takes many births, right?
No, your voice is not clear. Who is this? Okay.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yeah. Please live. Can you be a little louder?
Maheshwari.
Mataji, he is not immortal, Mataji. He used to take many births, many cycles.
Okay. No, is it true or false what I told?
False.
False, yeah. Okay. Last one. It is 19th shloka. How is the journey of a less intelligent person take place through all those planets? How are they elevated or annihilated? Just a brief description. 19th shloka you can see.
During the daytime of the Brahma, the less intelligent like persons receive various bodies for the material activities, Mataji. During the nighttime, the bodies like they remain compact inside the body of Vishnu. And again, during the other daytime of Brahma, they get manifested again.
Is it complete, the answer, Mataji?
Yeah. Again and again, yes, they are.
Hello.
No, Hare Krishna Mataji, like, so that means there are many
Hello?
Brahmas, is it?
Yes. One
Okay.
life is over, then another Brahma comes. Somebody who has, qualified himself. And sometimes it happens that, say, nobody is qualified, and Krishna also takes the role of Brahma sometimes.
Okay.
But
The
it's
one like
supposed,
who was raised with Goddess Saraswati with
yes,
4 Vedas.
yeah.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
And
Mataji.
to become a Brahma, you have to have 100 lifetimes of, if you perform your Varnashrama Dharma properly on this earth, then you can become a Brahma. But I hope you don't want to be a Brahma. Okay.
Okay, that's it.
Okay.